The demons are what? Gone.
I mean, anytime, you win in the playoffs, it's going to be enjoyable. And
how would you know?
The Dallas Cowboys, they think they can win it all.
I'm not really on the Cowboys bandwagon myself. They're vastly overrated.
The hottest team is the Dallas Cowboys. They come in having won 4 straight and look like a Super Bowl team on both sides of the football.
All this talk about Dallas being so great, it's sort of like all that talk about how great Green Bay was. And what did they give up, like 800 points to Arizona?
I'm not sure there's a blueprint to stop this football team. They're on a roll.
Dallas has a terrible head coach. They have an overrated quarterback and an absolute tool as an owner.
The demons are what? Gone.
They're as hot a football team as there is in the NFL. They're as talented a football team as there is in the NFL.
I think if we hit them in the mouth early, they're going to go down.
I heard all that nonsense and all the hype about the Dallas Cowboys coming to town and the hottest team in the playoffs. And I just asked my team early in the week, just choke it back and shut up. And we'll play the game when they get here on Sunday. The Tasmanian Devils that were coming from Dallas that were, about to, bombard the state of Minnesota and run through us like, Sherman through the South. And they had about enough of it by the time we got to Tuesday.
The demons are what? Gone.
So the Cowboys came to the Dome, and consensus was that Dallas and San Diego were the 2 hottest teams in the league. And I don't know how San Diego did. I presume they won because they're, really solid kicker during the regular season. One thing we do know is that Dallas won by negative 31 points. Another way of saying that is they lost by 31 points to the Vikings. So why did the Cowboys lose by 31 points? Number one, the Vikings defense. I mean, they came in fired up. I had very little confidence in them coming in. Our defense is not going to hold up for 60 minutes. Although I also said this, their defense plays a lot better at home. Somehow they came in just fired up. They showed a lot in holding the Cowboys to 3 points. Especially Ray Edwards. He seemed to have a really solid first half of the season, then he just sort of disappeared. And Leslie Frazier actually challenged him before the game. And did Ray Edwards answer that challenge?
Second and goal for Romo, who's in trouble. There's Edwards again.
I think so. 3 sacks, couple tackles for loss? He was unbelievable. Jared Allen, who I also kind of called out last week. I just don't think Jared Allen is going to show up as big as he needs to show up. Really kind of shut me up.
They fake the handoff, and Jared Allen gets to Romo. Ball comes out.
Ben Lieber made a big INT, and Tyrell Johnson made a nice force out of Miles Austin on a big 3rd down.
Romo slides, throws. Austin is forced out, incomplete.
So a lot of guys on the defense made plays when they needed to. Number 2 reason the Vikings won, Sidney Rice. And I'm going to call him my most improved player.
Favre backpedaling as he lost it for Rice. How good is that combo?
We've seen throughout this year that he's a player, and on Sunday he showed he's a prime-time player. Favre certainly had a hand in those 2 long touchdowns with some just unbelievable throws. And that second touchdown he threw to Sidney Rice, it reminded me a lot, the way he dodged that pass rusher. Of a little pass he threw against San Francisco in Week 3.
Favre fakes the handoff. Ducks under pressure, hits Rice, who's got his second.
The 3rd reason the Vikings won, Wade Phillips.
How would you rate his hold on the head coaching position with the Dallas Cowboys?
There's a reason he doesn't get much respect. The Cowboys have 4th and 1 in the first quarter. They could try a 48-yard field goal or try to get the first down. Their offense had been moving the ball at will, and their kicker did this a few weeks ago.
Today, little high snap, and he missed.
So Wade Phillips obviously went for the kick. He missed it, and then this happened a few plays later.
To bring extra people. Favre lets it go, downfield, pass caught, touchdown, Rice.
But an even bigger coaching blunder by Wade Phillips was benching Felix Jones in the second quarter in place of Marion Barber. Quick, speedy running backs give the Vikings defense trouble. They'll struggle with Felix Jones. I don't think they'll have any trouble with Marion Barber and his clown feet. And Felix Jones was moving the ball real well.
The handoff is to Felix Jones running left. He had big Leonard Davis.
And they went to Marion Barber, and stuff like this happened.
They tossed to Barber. To the right, and Ray Edwards, what a game.
Now here's what would happen if, say, you had a running back with speed running a play like that.
Here's an end around. Harvey Marvin gets away from one tackle. That was Spencer. And now in the open field, takes it inside the 40.
He could elude that first pass rusher and pick up some yardage. If I blame Wade Phillips, I got to credit Chili. Chili, he's not a great in-game strategist. He had some poor clock management at the end of the first half, but those guys were ready to play in a big game, so Chili did something right, obviously, in the week leading up to that game. And I really loved the emotion he showed after the game in his press conference, where he just almost like choking on bile, just angry at the way the media had built up the Dallas Cowboys and ignored how the Vikings had started the season 10-1. And that last touchdown was just him saying, you know what? We're a lot better than the Cowboys. We're a good team. They're not. And here's the proof. And I loved it. And other guys stepped up too. Chris Cluey knocked the punt out at the 2-yard line.
It's a spiral. And it ends up hopping out of bounds.
Some guys, unfortunately, didn't step up. One in particular was named Tony Romo. The Vikings put a lot of pressure on him, but he really didn't handle it as well as a non-overrated quarterback would.
Romo throws and throws low for Witten. Romo steps up, pulls it back, and throws an interception to Lieber.
And of course, the Vikings running game didn't step up at all either. That just goes to show you how great the Vikings defense played, because the Vikings didn't move the ball well all game. They didn't control the clock, yet they still won by 31 points. The problem is, we know teams are trying to stop Adrian Peterson. So we can't have 2/3 of our running plays go straight up the middle.
And he handoff is to Peterson. Running at their 8, they start with a run. Another run, again, it's handoff to Peterson.
2nd and 10, handoff is to Peterson. Best and most complete team. 23rd career postseason start.
I mean, when they got 8-9 men in the box, that's not going to work. Doesn't matter if you have Jim Brown running it. You're not going to get yardage that way. So you got to do something different, something deceptive, Bring Percy Harvin around the end more, so you have the option of giving it to Harvin, giving it to Peterson, or play action. Do more of the delayed handoffs that worked a little bit in the first half, but you got to do something other than these just straightforward runs up the middle against these 8-9 men fronts. That's just never going to work. So our awards for this week, the Burt Blyleven Award for the most ridiculous announcing gaffe.
Against Jeter, we're going to do this fucking thing over again, because I just f***ed it up.
Goes to Joe Buck, who still hasn't figured out that when a team gets a penalty, the other team decides whether or not to decline it. Because the Vikings got a running into the kicker penalty in the 3rd quarter. Dallas accepted it and re-kicked, and Joe Buck said this.
After initially declining the penalty, the Vikings accepted.
And then he said this.
But either way, that decision by the Vikings did not work out in their advantage.
And then he said this.
Go back to that penalty on the punt. Vikings initially declined it. Would have started at the Dallas 43. Instead, they start at their own 46.
And finally, some lackey in the booth was like, hey, Mr. Buck, you're an idiot.
Go back and clean up what I was saying earlier. It was the Cowboys, not the Vikings, who eventually accepted the penalty.
Congratulations to Joe Buck. And of course, the Aaron Rodgers Award for garbage passing statistics. I mean, this is an easy one. Brett Favre all the way. That last touchdown.
Action, Favre, end zone, Schenko. How about another? Touchdown, Vikings.
Was completely unnecessary, but it was awesome. Chili almost lost it after the game. He was so mad about Dallas getting built up so much.
As Lou Holtz used to say, it's our job to score points. It's their job to stop you from scoring points. And that wasn't rubbing it in. That's just taking care of business.
And we saw some real emotion from Chili, which really humanizes him, Chili, he's very robotic, very deadpan. It's good to see some emotion so you can kind of feel like you can relate to him a little. So now I feel like I've grown in my relationship with Chili. The defense just showed a lot of heart. That's something they've been lacking a lot this year, and they're going to need that next week against the Saints. I think the key against the Saints, hit them in the mouth. Be physical. Sort of like Atlanta Falcons were against the Vikings in the 1998 NFC Championship game, okay? We're not going to outscore them. Our offense isn't as good as theirs, but our defense can be physical and can knock them around and get them off their game. That's what we got to do.
The demons are what? Gone.
Jerry Jones is down on the field.